What's going on, everybody? It is Dr. Jamar Montgomery of drjamarmontgomery.com here. And I just have a urgent message. A lot of us are worried about, well, not a lot of us, but a good majority of Americans are worried about the election. And we're talking about how important this election is. And there's been a lot of fear mongering of, oh, if you elect Trump, you're going to have more police brutality, and he's given the police more immunity. If you elect Kamala Harris, um, you're going to be electing a communist. You're going to be electing all these people. And you know what? I'm here to say that a lot of what we experience is a result of choice, personal choices. And we keep trying to put our bad choices on to our politicians. But guess what, y'all? Guess what? Our politicians do not control much of our behavior. You know, uh, the biggest issue that we talk about is with abortion, with you know home ownership, police brutality, all these things. But let me ask this question about police brutality, and this is coming from somebody that has done police brutality work, who's done community advocacy work, who has been on the front lines, literally, figuratively, legally. How many of you have gotten beat up or brutalized by the police? Raise your hand. Okay? How many of us how many of us know people who have been beat up or brutalized by the police? Right? Now, what do the numbers say? What do the numbers say? I want to go to the numbers. It says here that African Americans are killed by police at a rate significantly higher than other racial groups. We make up about 13 to 14% of the population, yet we account for 23 to 25% of all people shot and unalived by the police. Right? I will say this. We worry about police brutality. But you know the biggest killer of black people? It's abortion. The biggest unaliver of black people is abortion. Okay? Know that. The biggest killer of black people is abortion. Here's some of the abortion numbers for us. Despite making up 13 to 15% of the population, black women account for 30 to 35% of all abortions. Now, the last numbers that I looked up were that there were 900,000 abortions in America in 2020. 30% of those. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Here it is. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Black women account for 24 to 27% of all abortions in the United States. So let's call it 30%. That means that of the 900,000 abortions that occurred in the United States, 300,000 were of black babies. How can you say that Black Lives Matter when you are the primary killer of black lives? Not not diabetes, not high cholesterol, not the police, not the government. You, our women, our people, are the biggest killer of our own people. Now, why am I talking about police brutality and why am I talking about abortion? Why am I talking about that? I'm going to get to your question in a minute, Catherine. Why am I talking about that? We talk about Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. We talk about her being an advocate for police brutality, against police brutality, and that we got to do something about police killing black men. We do have to do something about police killing black men. We do have to do something about police brutalizing black people. We absolutely do. But she is not the person that's going to do that. She's not going to be the person that makes sure that black people stay alive. Why do I say that? How is it that you as a candidate can push for abortions when black women make up anywhere from 24 to 30% of abortions? And then also, she does, at her history as a prosecutor, as a DA, as a district attorney and attorney general, she does not have a history of going after bad cops. So the same cops that beat you down, she doesn't have a history of prosecuting those folks. Think about that. And watch this. You're not in charge. You as a citizen are not in charge of who becomes your police chief, of who becomes your police officers. But you know who you are in charge of? You're in charge of who you vote for as the district attorney. You're in charge of who you vote for as the attorney general. Both positions that Vice President Kamala Harris has held. She has held the position of a DA. She has held the position of an attorney general. Yet, she does not have a history of prosecuting bad police officers. She does not have a history of prosecuting police officers who violate the civil and constitutional rights of the citizens. Brenda Kyle said all of this is under local control. Exactly my point. Kamala Harris was a district attorney of a city. That means that she was the top law enforcement officer of that particular city, which means she was in control of whether or not she prosecuted bad cops, whether she found justice for people whose rights had been violated by police officers. She doesn't have a history of doing that. Then again, as Attorney General, she didn't have a history of doing that. Bricks Currency, what y'all be hating on Kamala? She is the one that we need. No, she's not. Start naming the things that we need her for. Start naming the things that we need her for. Start naming the things that we're expecting of her. Catherine RN said she was representing her constituents. As a Christian, I can't vote for the other candidate. As a Christian, I can't vote for somebody that's pushing abortion like that. I can't. Let's see. Wakanda Ridge said abortions are not birth control. I agree. Catherine RN said no one is for abortion. We don't want it political. And black on black crime is a thing. You know, black on black crime is one way of putting it. I prefer the term intra-community violence. Let's see. How can you say that anyone else made that decision? The mother did. No one else. Oof. Let's look here. What else are my other comments? But as president, she will not be making those appointments. She's not going to be. Exactly my point. So why are we thinking that she's going to have this agenda of police accountability when she did not have that agenda as a prosecutor and as an attorney general, where she had the most power and influence in that realm? It's our imagination that's making us think of that. This Puerto Rican voted early for Trump. I understand that. I'm glad that you voted. My point is this. A lot of what we do is personal choices. Nobody forced you to go have that abortion, or those were as a result of choices. Think about the level of STDs that people have, right? I'm going to go here to STDs. African Americans have the highest rate of chlamydia in the nation. They are 5 to 8 more times to be diagnosed with chlamydia compared to white Americans. And white Americans have the lowest rate of chlamydia in the United States. African Americans get gonorrhea 7 times 10 higher than white Americans. And once again, white Americans have the lowest cases. Syphilis, African Americans lead in syphilis 4 to 6 times more likely than white Americans. White Americans have the lowest rates of syphilis. So we lead in all the things that are bad. We lead in terms of, well, do we lead in abortions? Let's see. Abortion rates. African American women have the highest abortion rate. They are 3 to 4 more times more likely to have an abortion compared to white women. And they account for 24 to 27% of all abortions in the United States. It says white women make up about 35 to 38% of total abortions, but have the lowest abortion rate per capita. Once again, African American women, despite making up 13 to 15% of the population, account for roughly 30 to 35% of all abortions. Let's see. Bricks Currency, she has done so much for her country. She stomped the yard. She went to a black college. I stomped the yard. I went to a black college. You know what she did? You know what Kamala Harris had that I didn't have? She had a position as a district attorney and as an attorney general, and yet did not do anything for police accountability in those positions. In fact, personal story, when California Department of Correction and Rehabilitation, the prison system, was under a consent decree from the federal government, it was Kamala Harris who would not sign off on releasing nonviolent offenders. Well, why was that? Why was that important? Because California's prisons were overcrowded, and when you have overcrowding in prisons, you create dangerous situations for the prisoners that are there and the people that work there. So it's not just sheriffs and the wardens that work there. It's also healthcare workers. It's also food service people. There are other people that are involved in that prison. My mom was a nurse working at CDCR at one of those prisons. And as a result of overcrowding, it was a dangerous situation. Let's look here. No accountability on the people, all victim stance. Oh, it is definitely a lot of victim stance. Bricks Currency, I think it's because a lot of our men don't show that they care for us, just show it for our sister. I'm sorry, Bricks Currency, that you had that experience with black men. I hate that you've had that experience with black men. But I can tell you right now, I'm married to a black woman. I have a black. I'm a black girl dad. I support black women, but I also recognize that not all kinfolk, not all skin folk is kinfolk, and not everybody that we expect to advocate for our interests is going to actually advocate for our interests. I have a problem that Kamala Harris decided that all of a sudden 30 days, 20 days before the election, now she wants to talk directly to black men. And on fact, she's making promises to black men that she can't necessarily keep. Let's see. Let's see what's being said. Or commit crimes that don't want to be held accountable. She's pandering. Carr says she's pandering. She will be the president so she can do more. No. 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 This is the problem, is that we give people power. We put people in power. However, we expect for them to do something different than what their track record shows of them. Christy Love says, Trump making promises he can't keep. He's definitely making promises he can't keep. He's definitely making promises to his base that he won't necessarily be able to keep. The problem is that Trump has kept it 1,000. Trump, you know exactly what you're dealing with. That's the thing. You know exactly what you're dealing with. With Kamala Harris, these promises are being made, but you don't see her delivering on those things. Like, Kamala, you have all this influence. You have all this influence. Why aren't you, and especially when Biden dropped out, you have all this influence. Why aren't there more executive orders showing that, hey, even though I haven't been elected, this is the kind of influence that I can get with President Biden to make these things happen, to show you this is why you should actually be voting for me. She's in power right now. Let's see. Um, the Russian president said that the three-letter agencies actually run the country. Exactly. You want to know why they said that? Because that's called the deep state. Those who are career bureaucrats, people who've had 30 years, 25, 20, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years of service in the federal government, who've built up relationships, not only within the government, but outside of the government and internationally, that they're able to do that. So they're negotiating, yes, with the three-letter agencies, not with the president, which is a bad thing, but it just shows how even as a president, if you're not aware of how government actually works, how your own government can work against you as a president. Trump is a real one. Thank you for being, Boston Bessie said, thank you for being an intelligent leader. You're absolutely welcome. You know what? And for everybody that's getting, oh man, not feeling well, nose is running and all that, but it's all good. For those that are new to my channel and getting to know who I am Dr. Jamar Montgomery. Oh, excuse me. I am Dr. Jamar Montgomery. I am a polyglot, which means that I'm a multidisciplinary genius. I started college at the age of 11, started full-time at 14. I graduated with my bachelor's in mechanical engineering at the age of 19. I then went on to work for the United States Navy as a weapons systems engineer. I was the youngest weapons systems engineer in the United States Navy's history. So the system that is currently shooting down drones and shooting down missiles in the Red Sea, that was my system. That's what I worked on. I did that for just about 5 years. At the same time that I did that for 5 years, I also was chair of legal redress for the NAACP, for the Ventura County NAACP. After that, I ended up going to law school. And while in law school, I got my MBA. I graduated with my law degree and my MBA. I then went on to teach political science at Southern University, Shreveport. I also practiced law as a juvenile public defender in Caddo Parish in Shreveport, Louisiana, where the is majority black, and 80% of my clients were black, and 60% of my clients were young black boys. I saw what was going on in our government from teaching political science, and then people who were actually being affected by the government and the law. And you know what I did? I ran for U.S. Senate in the 2020 elections. Ran for U.S. Senate as an independent candidate, pissed off a lot of powerful people, both in the Democratic Party as well as people that were in the bar association. They ended up snatching my license as a result. Huh. After that didn't stop me. What I ended up doing was I ended up becoming an advisor to presidential campaigns. And I'm your favorite rapper's favorite political advisor. Kanye West gave me a call and asked me to accompany him to meet with President Trump back in November of 2022. I accompanied President Biden in 2023 at the G7 summit in Hiroshima, Japan. I've spoken during the World Economic Forum in 2023 and in 2024. So this is who you're talking to. You're talking to somebody that is well versed in politics. Not only have I voted, not only have I donated, but I also have ran for office. So this is who I am. Let's see. Let's go through you guys' comments. Let's go through y'all's comments. Said you're not giving facts. Okay, facts. Thank you. She had 4 years. She's not the president yet. Nope. Vice presidents don't make executive orders. Yes, she doesn't make executive orders. You're absolutely correct. She does not make executive orders. You know who does? President Biden. You know who doesn't have to worry about re-election? President Biden. You know, if she actually had real influence, she could say, hey, President Biden, this is the agenda that we should do. Hey, President Biden, who used to be the leader of the Democratic Party, this is what we need to do to ensure that the Democratic Party stays in power. These are the executive orders that we need to put in place. Why? So that we can secure this election. Why isn't that being done? Chrissy Love said, you're just talking. She is not. Who has the majority in Congress? Let's see. Who has the majority in Congress? Let's answer that question right now. The GOP holds a slim majority. They have 220 seats to the Democrats' 212 with 3 vacancies. Now, how many senators? Let's see. Senators balance. Let's look that up. All right. Balance of power. 51 Democrats to 49 Republicans. Democrats are in the executive. Democrats are the minority in Congress, but they are the majority in the Senate. And if we vote the whole ticket blue, she will back most of her policies. Vote blue the entire ticket. Hey, I'm glad that you feel that way. I don't see that. She was in charge of the border. I had to get the job to keep my job. Yeah, the illegals don't. That's funny. She is only the VP. VPs are not in power. Please stop saying that. Okay. Kamala was probably heating down like Fannie Willis was. Harris doesn't even know what her policies are. How can she make promises? Lori Ledger said, preach. She's been there 3.5 years. She's had plenty of time to make changes. Why hasn't she? Where are the videos of Kamala in action as a prosecutor? The VP works at the behest of the president, can't control policy. Kamala was probably getting down like Fannie Willis. Trump 2024. Amen. Wake up, people. You don't know. You do know that VPs have no power. You don't seem to know that. So why is she? VPs don't have any power. Then why are we holding out like her becoming vice president was this big thing? Think about that. If they have no power, then why was she given the Democratic Party nomination if VPs don't have any power and don't do anything? So you want to give somebody that has no power and hasn't done anything for the last 4 years, or doesn't have the power to do anything for the last 4 years. Now all of a sudden you want to say that they are ready to become president? Interesting. Am I a Trumper? No, not necessarily a Trumper. But I did vote for him. This is my first time voting for him. In 2020, I voted for Kanye. Let's see. Kamala is a joke. With all that, why vote for Trump then? But let's put it like this. I wanted to vote for RFK. But when I've realized that he was not going to be on the ballot in some places, I said, all right. But yeah. So you're highly educated, not indoctrinated? Absolutely. Like you should identify like Kamala. Did Jeffrey Epstein ask you to visit him as his island? Oh, here's the truth. Love your, let's see. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Love your intellect. Spread the word, baby. Appreciate it. And thank you everyone for the likes. I appreciate it. AG said you're talking to a plantation voter. That's funny. People are leaving Kamala in droves. Yep, it was a coup. Kamala trying to throw that old cat around. That's funny. It doesn't work like that. Tell the truth, my intelligent friend. People are leaving Kamala in droves. The VP has a tie-breaking vote in the Senate. Absolutely. The VP is known as the president of the Senate. So how do you want Biden to pass laws when the Republicans hold the majority? Executive orders. Let's ask this question. How is Kamala going to provide funding to black men? How's she going to provide funding to black men? But funding bills have to go through Congress first. Somebody make that make sense for me. So laws get passed by what house first? Well, it depends on where it originates from. There's the funding bills originate in the House, but all other bills can originate in either house of it. Borders are. Sea Wars has all these clown emojis. VPs have plenty of power. You can't even get it out. It's so outlandish. So what power does she have? Can she make and change laws? Why do blacks vote? Why do blacks vote for Democrats? Because Lyndon Johnson said if we pass the civil rights bill, these niggas would be voting for Democrats for the next 50 years or 100 years. And guess what? He was right. Um, Black people vote for Democrats because we are people of tradition and we're very loyal people. Uh, we often don't think we often think out of identity politics, and people know how to pander to our identity instead of pandering to our actual interests. To be honest, black people really don't know, as a monolith, really don't know what their interests are. And I could say that one item that all black people should be rallying around is reparations. The same way how a majority of people that are Jewish rally around Israel. Point blank. Period. That's the reality. Actions speak louder than words. Yes, VPs have plenty of power and can do a lot. She was in charge of three things: the border, Afghanistan. Let's see. The border, Afghanistan. Uh, war in Ukraine and failed miserably. Oh, you a Trumper? I'm not a Trumper. I'm actually independent. I'm not a Trumper. Not a Trumper. Not at all. Not at all. Um, and to be honest, to be honest, I want America to be great. So, um, whoever's in office, I'm going to hold accountable, and I'm going to be vocal. That's the thing. That's the great part about living in America, is that we live in a place where we don't even necessarily like the candidate, but still are there to support. Mind you, I was very critical of Trump back in 2015, 2016 when he was running. Was critical of him during his presidency. Critical of Joe Biden. You should be critical. You should be critical. Why? Because you're an intelligent voter. I'm an intelligent voter. My job is to create more informed and involved citizens. Let's see. The VP acts as an advisor to the president. How wouldn't she be a good candidate? Trump got in. And so what if he's a Trumper? I'm proud of it. Montgomery for 2028. Hey, Sean Irvin, I'm rocking with you. I appreciate that. Mary Peters said, wait, she's the head of the Senate? Yes. The VP is known as the president of the Senate. Why do we all need funding? Explain all the former VP policy, and we get to vote in November, don't we? Yep. And what do you think Trump is going to do? I think Trump is going to do the same damn thing that he was doing, and just with a vengeance. Why is always about skin color? Don't you know we're all the same underneath? Yeah, we're all the same underneath, but it just seems that that it, depending on your skin color, determines what kind of resources and access that you get, at least in America. And now what we're seeing is that not only your skin color, but your immigration status. If you really want to talk about it, you really want to be honest. You know what I just thought about? All of a sudden, the Democrats know what a woman is with Harris. Crazy! Is it not offensive? Is it not offensive? Is it not offensive? We know what a woman is. We know what a woman is. We know that Kamala Harris is a black woman. We know that she identifies as a woman. Crazy. Trump vans for a much stronger economy, loyal to a fault. Black folks are loyal to a fault. That's why everybody wants the black vote. And that's one of the reasons why Kamala Harris is now trying to talk to black men. The Post makes requests for bills to go through, such as changes in the tax code or immigration law. Why do whites vote Republican? No, not a lot of whites vote for Republican. A lot of white folks actually vote Democrat. Problem is that when it comes to identity, to white folks in lower socioeconomic demographics, white folks tend to vote Republican because the Republicans cater to identity and they cater to values and ethics and morals versus actual interests. So there's one thing to say, all right, as a Republican, I'm gonna make sure you got Bibles in your school, but that don't have nothing to do with your economic policy. For what? I'm about to accept you real quick. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, you starting a match? No, thank you, sir. Oh, Black Myth. Oh, 2000 said that's a lie. Johnson never said that. Let's see. If we pass the civil rights bill, they'll vote Democrat. Hmm. Hmm. We may have lost the South. Let's see. Has become steadily, but did Johnson really say it? He didn't mention in it his memoir? In his absence, historians debate and write. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Quite a day as a. Fortunately, very for generations once for all couldn't keep up. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna find that because I like giving accurate information. Let's see what Johnson's had to say. Fights the white backlash. I'm gonna get back to that. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's go here. Read some more of these comments. I tell you, I got the greatest audience. I got the greatest audience ever. If it wasn't for the white votes, Obama would have never been president. Exactly. Kenneth knows you're voting Trump. Yep. Yep. I'm voting Trump. I've met the man. I've met the man. I've had dinner with him. There was a great article, a great interview that I saw. Ooh, you know who also? Who is the president of BET? Who is the president? The former president of BET. He said that President Trump was a man that was looking to help the black community, see ways that he could help the black community. Don Peebles, the real estate investor, said that he was asked, is Trump racist? And Don Peebles said, I don't think he's any more racist than Joe Biden. I hope you have a strong platform. Thank you, Lori. I'll have a stronger platform the more that you guys share my lives, the more that you guys like them, the more that you guys show up and participate. And I'm thankful. I am thankful to have my audience and people who disagree with me. Like, come on up. Come on up. If you have some thoughts, come on up. I encourage everyone to come on up. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm encouraged by what you have to say. But come on up. Bricks Currency. Okay, well, what made you leave the Democrats? Because there were certain policies that I agreed with on the Democrats, and there were certain policies that I agreed with the Republicans. So I became an independent. And especially when I ran for office, it was like when people talked to me, they always thought that I was, because I was black, they thought I was a Democrat. But when they talked to me, they thought that I was a Republican. And then when I told them that I was an independent, it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. What do I mean? I'm the kind of person that I'm a strong Second Amendment advocate. Strong Second Amendment advocate. Right? I'm also for police accountability. I'm also for holding police officers accountable and charging police officers with crimes when they violate the civil and constitutional rights of citizens. Right? So think about that. I recognized what my interests were and the policies that I was concerned about. So if there was I might vote for a Democratic mayor or a Republican mayor, but vote for a Democratic congressman. And that's it's recognizing, but you can only do that if you research the candidates. If you know first, if you got to know what you're fighting for. You gotta know what you're fighting for. You gotta know that. You gotta know that. What's actually important to you, right? Why is police brutality a issue for you if you don't get stopped by the police that often? Or you're not a prosecutor, or you're not a public defender, or you're not a lawyer, or you're not somebody that does court work, or, why is that important? You got to think about that. How much energy are you going to spend on these issues? Right? You have to think about that. Kamala Harris doesn't have any well-defined crypto policy, and I'm in crypto heavy. She's all for doing this, all more of the same. I don't like her tax policy. The Democrats and Republicans are two wings of the same bird. Absolutely. Trump will lock you up if you disagree with him. No, that wasn't my experience. Because if that were true, Hillary Clinton would have been locked up during his presidency. Mr. Mike, you wrong, and you can't explain why whites vote Republican. Thanks, bud. Much love. Vote for me. Vote your pocketbook. Were you better 5 years ago? Stop the money flow to Ukraine. Hey, and you're talking to somebody that was involved. I talked with military leadership of Ukraine. I was helping with Ukraine because I saw there was a lot of money that was flowing, and I was trying to get a little piece of it. Research Margaret Sanger and abortion, Planned Parenthood. Candace Owens has a great series about the origins of Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger. David Bentley, thank you for the follow. I'll write you if it's not on the ballot in 2028, Montgomery 2028. Hey, Sean, if you do there of it, and I will give you credit. I appreciate that. Joe Leader said, Trump learned what mistakes he made the first term. Second term will be horrible. That's funny. White elitists vote Democrat. Blue-collar whites tend to vote more Republican. Grievance and protest votes against the educated. Research the origins of abortion in the United States. Carr, thank you for the follow. Let's see. Thank you for the follow. Lori Ledger, thank you for the follow. What else do you talk about besides politics? I talk about a bunch of things. We can talk about crypto. We can talk about social issues. We can talk about God. But I'm willing. Give me topics that you guys want me to talk about. That's what I'm here for. I have a degree in engineering. I love airplanes. And I work for the largest airplane company in the world because I love airplanes. Crazy. Took a break from the public eye and decided to go back to engineering. So I have a mechanical engineering degree. I have a law degree and I have a business degree. You want to talk about business? You want to talk about economic policy? You want to talk about that? Let's talk about it. You want to talk about kids? Carr, you want to come on up? Let me invite you up, Carr. There you go. Breaks Currency, thank you for the roses. Thank you for the ice cream cone. Lori Ledger said, thank you for thinking for yourself. I'm an educator in Title I district and have seen it all. Hey. What's going on, Carr?
Not much. What are you doing?
Oh man, just talking this talk right now about politics.
Yep, and I'm enjoying your podcast.
Thank you so much. What's your thoughts?
What are my thoughts about what?
About anything that I said or anything that you want to talk about. You got my attention and the attention of my audience now.
No pressure, right?
No pressure. Make America first again. I like that.
I love it. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure everybody can afford a house. Everybody can, I have smaller children, 18 and 21 right now. They want to buy houses. They want to have careers. And that's what I look at is, I've had my career. I've retired. I failed at retirement, and I'm volunteering in town most days. But, kids anymore can't afford houses. They can't afford their insurance. Insurance costs so much that, it's wrecking them.
Yep. And what options does somebody have? What options does somebody have when they can't afford those things?
Not a whole lot.
Right? They either turn destitute,
public assistance, or
turn to the government, or turn to crime.
Yep.
Right?
Or they're working their ass off 80 hours a week to afford insurance.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
We live in a town where everything is 45 minutes away, work's 45 minutes away, healthcare is 45 minutes away. So, it's one of those things where it's like, $15,000 an acre in a town that, has nothing to offer them. What do we do here?
Yeah. 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 Well, thank you, Car, for coming online and giving us some quick thoughts. You have any final thoughts before I open it back up?
Don't vote for somebody who's pandering for you. Don't vote for somebody who's gonna sit there and insult the whole racial, sexual, gender community that you're in just to get your vote.
Yeah. 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 Well, thank you.
Smarter than that.
Thank you, Car.
Peace out. Have a good night.
All right, be blessed.
You too.
There we go. Okay. Lori Ledger asked me, she said, what do you think about our involvement in other countries' war affairs, especially Ukraine? That is a great, 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 great question. What do I think about it? I think that anytime that we watch our government give billions of dollars to other countries when we have natural disasters is a damn shame. It's a damn shame. It's a travesty. Damn shame. It's horrible. It's deplorable. I'm looking for another word for it. Now, why do I think that? What went on with Ukraine? The Biden administration had ties to Ukraine, and I feel that what most people don't know about Ukraine is Ukraine has a very technologically savvy population, and there's a lot of corruption that goes on in Ukraine. The United States helped overthrow the leader of Ukraine, the democratically elected leader of Ukraine that was pro-Russia. The United States saw that as a risk to their control and especially their influence in NATO. So the United States helped overthrow that leader. Then we got this new guy, the comedian, as some people have said. Why do I not know his name? I used to know his name. Let's see. Zelensky. Now we got Zelensky. I believe that I believe that that the Biden administration made deals with Zelensky and made deals with powerful people that were in Ukraine, and the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian hackers and Ukrainian people in technology had something to do with the elections in the United States. I don't know this for a fact, but this is me putting pieces together. And so one of the reasons why a lot of our support has gone over to Ukraine was literally Biden paying Zelensky back for a favor. I have a problem with the amount of money that we send over to Israel. Because just looking at the atrocities that are being committed, like I watched on the Washington Post, they caught a picture of a precision guided bomb take down an entire building. Now the crazy part was, like, from a weapon systems engineer perspective, I'm like, dude, that is cool as hell, right? But to know that they took this building down and it basically just imploded. The building just imploded. It was like, even though there was an explosion, it was like the cleanest explosion that you'd ever see, because there was a building literally like 15, 20 feet away from it, and that building was untouched. You're leveling buildings and you're killing babies, and 30, 40,000 people have already been killed. 20,000 children. And for what? Oh, you got to go after Hamas. Okay. Hamas killed 1,200 people, and now you've killed 20 times that amount in just children. We send a lot of money overseas, and we as the American people don't get a benefit from it. And people are like, well, we have influence. Yeah, we do have influence, but think about the real beneficiaries are the defense contractors, the oil companies that go over there and exploit those countries and exploit the resources of those countries. Let's see. President of Ukraine is a cross-dresser. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I saw that video. Do you think Hunter's relationships with those leaders have anything to do with the money we send them? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Nope, cowboy, that was Trump with Zelensky, not Biden. Trump didn't like Zelensky. Trump did not like Zelensky. And one of the reasons he was withholding aid from Ukraine because of how he felt about Ukraine's involvement in our elections. Speaking on Biden, where is he? We should call him Ghost. He doesn't exist anymore. Where is Joe? He's on vacation. Is he asleep? How do we end it? My cousin is over there working for the CIA right now. I want him to come home. How do we end it? Damn. I don't know how we end it. Cut off the money. One of the ways that we end it is we demand that those other countries give us citizenship. Anybody who receives money from us has to grant a certain amount of number of citizenship to those countries. So anybody that receives money from the United States has to allow for us to become citizens over in that country. Is Kamala going to bring back the troops? Nope. Trump perhaps strong leadership. Trump has strong leadership in the sense that he is decisive on his decisions. The problem is that there were people around him that will talk him out of his decisions. What's in my right nostril? I don't know about anything in my right nostril. It's my left nostril that's been running. Trump, his greatest strength is the unpredictability. Is his unpredictability. The fact that he's not a career politician, a career diplomat, a career government worker, and that he's had to. Let's put it like this. You want to know the difference between a businessman and a criminal? You want to know the difference between a businessman and a criminal? A businessman breaks rules. Criminals break the law. Point blank. Both are taking risks, and both are doing it for usually monetary gain. At least smart criminals. Am I voting Trump? Yeah, I'm voting Trump. Trump does both. Let's go. Anybody else want to come on up? I'm encouraging everybody to come on up. It's been cold in this house. Yeah, the Dems already hate me. The Dems were responsible for me losing my law license. Quiet as kept. Well, part of the reason why I lost my law license. Yeah. Any more questions? It's all good. I could have voted for RFK. I was originally going to vote for RFK, but I didn't want to see Kamala. I didn't want to see Kamala Harris in office. Yeah, was not comfortable with Kamala being in office. What will you tell that story? Did they find out you're a Republican? No. I'll tell that story. Not on this live. I'll tell it on another live. That's why you guys gotta follow me. Cause I'm gonna drop stories. Yeah. So yeah, um, those are my thoughts. Then how many stories you got? I got plenty of stories. I got stories about Kanye. I got stories about my time of being with Kanye and Nick Fuentes. Um, I got stories about Gary Chambers of Louisiana. I have stories about my time in Hiroshima, Japan. I have stories about my time in Korea when I worked for the Navy. I have stories about being about your HBCUs, at least your HBCU law schools being gentrified. How at an HBCU law school, I as a black man was a minority. Um, I have stories about the protests in 2020, about how there were snipers that had their guns trained on us during a peaceful protest. I have stories about marching with the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Coalition. Lori Legislature, I would love to talk to you. Hey, anytime. Jump on my lives whenever I'm here. Jump on my lives. Irrational, can you talk about what Trump wants to do with the education system? Let's look at Trump's agenda. Let's look at Trump's agenda. Thank you, Irrational. Agenda 47. Let's go there. Certified website of that. Let's see. Read the official. Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world. Stop outsourcing. Large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. Prevent World War III and the weaponization of government against the American people. Man, I know that. Yeah, my allergies, something's going. Let's see, rebuild our cities, stop the migrant crime, strengthen, modernize our military, keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, protect and fight and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, cancel the electric vehicle mandate, cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, racial gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Let's go there. Let's go there. All right. Children. Universal School Choice, Chapter 7. Cultivate great K through 12 schools leading to great jobs and great lives for young people. Let's see. Great principals and great teachers. Universal School Choice. They're going to expand the 529 Education Savings Account and support homeschooling families equally. Okay. Prepare students for jobs and careers. Yeah, he's not really going into detail. Republicans will ensure children are taught fundamentals like reading, history, science, and math, not left-wing propaganda. We will defund schools that engage in inappropriate political indoctrination of our children using federal taxpayer dollars. Knowledge and skills, not CRT and gender indoctrination. One of the things that I would say, this critical race theory, I just think that if American history is actually taught in a real, it actually taught that, slavery was a bad thing. Slavery was a bad thing. That we experienced inequities as a result of what happened in slavery. Black people were brainwashed to think that they were inferior, and they're doing their damn best to keep from. They're doing their damn best to unlearn that programming. What do you think about getting a receipt for your vote and having it vetted against national vote? Ooh, well, blockchain. Blockchain is the way to do that. I have something that may help in that. Vote Stein where in 2024? Living wages, education, housing, healthcare, 63%, one of third party. Absolutely. Promote love of country with authentic civics education. Republicans will reinstate the 1776 Commission. Okay, let's see what that is. Return education to the states. The United States spends more money per pupil on education than any other country in the world, and yet we are at the bottom of every educational list in terms of results. We are going to close the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. and send it back to the states where it belongs and let the states run our educational system as it should be run. Our great teachers who are so important to the future well-being will be cherished and protected by the Republican Party. Oof. Yes, it's a little dangerous. It's a little dangerous. And it's dangerous in the sense that you're going to have some states that run it well. You're going to have some states that run it bad. Let's see. Cultivate great schools. Let's see. Bam, 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 bam. Republicans will end left-wing gender insanity. Yeah. Republicans will fire radical left accreditors, drive down tuition costs, restore due process protection, and pursue civil rights cases against schools that discriminate. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a lot of platitudes. But yeah, that's what Trump's got. But yeah, kids are third generation Americans. My son was salutation still not salutatorian and still not college ready. Oof. I hate to hear that. That's difficult. Yep, little Johnny still can't read. And I'll say this. The reason why that's a reality for many Americans is because what happened to black folks. There was a lot of discrimination, so there was separate but equal. And it was separate, but it was definitely not equal. So what happened is that the United States government said, hey, it is okay to discriminate against these people. Then as the United States started discriminating against those people, the people that were in power said, hey, well, they said that it's okay if we allow these people, it's okay if the United States, the people said it's okay if this group of people only meet this particular standard. So let us just go ahead and lower the amount of money that we spend because we're at least getting a decent enough product here with only funding these people this amount. So you know what? We're going to apply that across the board. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. This is the reason why discrimination is so dangerous, is because, especially in capitalism, because when you discriminate, you don't allow for actual competition. And when you don't have competition, you don't get the best product. And the best product, what we're looking at right now, are American citizens. So anytime that you discriminate, you do not get the best product. When you give, when you do not provide equity of opportunity, equity of education, there's the equality part. I've given you the same qualified teachers, but equity says I've given you everything that you need so that you can perform at that particular level. Right? I've given you all the foundational stuff that you need in order to be able to be successful. Right? And a lot of that hasn't happened, particularly in the black community and particularly in communities that are lower on the socioeconomic scale. So one of the things that I'm saying is that, and what Martin Luther King was saying is in the Poor People's Campaign, right? That we have much more in common socioeconomically than we do dividing us on a values and ethics manner. Right? I cannot understand, right? I cannot understand, bruh, this transgender stuff, the LGBT stuff, right? You want somebody that's going to make sure your pocketbooks are straight, not that you got to sit in the same bathroom. Got to get back to our roots, educate our youth, and discipline. They've got to quit making excuses for misbehavior regardless of who does it. Yep. Claire, Marie, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Equity, but minimum wage teachers here would be paid $100K 100 miles away in the city. Yeah. Our schools look like miniature prisons. Students are treated like incarcerated citizens. Now, I'll say this, is that you would see in the black neighborhoods, that's where you first saw it. In the black neighborhoods, you saw that the schools looked like prisons. And then all of a sudden, every school started looking like a prison. So, what you allow for the least of these, you granted, you okayed it to happen to you. Yeah. That's why I said an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. It's a real thing. Because at some point in time, you're going to find yourself on the receiving end of it. Maybe me, thank you for the follow. Bricks Currency, thank you for the rose. So when they talk about critical race theory, I'm like, I'm not against critical race theory, but what I am for, and I think this is where it's important for you to have representation in your teachers, right? Representation in your teachers. I know I wanted to be elementary. I tried to become a substitute teacher when I was living in DC, but I got denied because I had a criminal record. And my criminal record was because I had a DUI that I received 11 days before my 21st birthday. Crazy, right? I love teaching. I love education. High fences, cameras, uniforms, one rule for all. Teachers' hands are tied behind their back. Yeah. Our kids are failing after COVID, 8th grade, and they don't know times tables. Yeah, that right there is madness. Madness. Maybe me, how old was I then? That was 2016, so I was 25? 2016? No, 8 years ago. 2016. 27? Yeah, 27. So it's just interesting. You see how these things were, how barriers are put in place, and you just see how you're affected by it. Carson, I'm a librarian sitting down with kids. It's sad. Yeah. 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 And they denied you because of that? Yep, they denied me because of that. I wish I had the email. Let me see if I can find the email. Because I think I received it either in the mail or via email. DC Public Schools. I was hurt. I was pissed. Let's see. We go back to 2016. Rather idolize Ice Spice. Well, that's what's being put in front of the kids. Can't blame the kids. They're stupid. They ain't been here. They ain't lived long enough. They don't know. But you know who has? We as parents have. Is Trump going to do anything about black women having the highest mortality rate in America? Mortality rate in terms of maternal mortality rate, or how badly black people are treated in hospitals? You know what? That's a great question, Irrational. Is he going to do anything about it? No, he's not going to do anything about it until black women start pressuring him about it. Power concedes to a demand. And if black women aren't demanding him to do something about it, if black women aren't making sure that they have access to him, and this goes for black people in general, how do you get access to your politician? You donate to him. Why do you donate to them? Because every politician has what is known as a donor roll and a voter roll. They know who voted for them. They know how to target you, and then they know who donated to them. Even if you don't like the politician, you donate to them. Why? Because when you write a letter, they look to see, did this person donate to me? Okay, they donated to me. All right, let me make sure I get back to them. So this is what you do. Find an organization. Find an organization. You find all the members of that organization, and you get those members to do this. You get those members to donate a little bit of money. Every member. So let's say you got a member of, you got an organization of 20 people. Get each one of those people to donate $50. What you do is you take that $50. You take that donation. Now you got what? $1,000. Right? You got $1,000. You can do it like this. You can split it in half, or you can do it all at once. You can split it in half and give 500 to one side and give 500 to the other side, or split it up however you want. But you take that, and then you have each one of those members that donated. You have them write a letter, but the organization, they write this form letter. They have each one of the members write a letter, and you have each one of the members write an email, and you say, hey, this is what we want you to focus on. And then you send that check over. Hey, this is from such and such, and this is our members, right? So now the organization's name is on their radar, and then all these people's names is on their radar, and then bam, okay, oh, this is an issue. Oh, we need to address the maternal health issue of black women. That's how you do it. But they have drag queens reading charts. Oh, crazy. I would have been pissed too. My experience teaching at first graders in the Title I school district was heartbreaking. They don't care. Pre-COVID, we were exceptional school. Now they meet few standards. Yeah, maternal mortality rate. I left in the middle of the school year due to stress and pressure from the administration. Thanks for explaining, but they not listening. They listening. My students were allowed more control of the classroom than me. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. Substitute teacher. I'm trying to see if I can find that. Oh, wow. Let's see. Substitute teacher. I found. All right. So I did the interview. Your application, sample lesson. Yeah, I did the interview. What happened was I received a letter from them telling me that I wasn't going to be, that I wouldn't get it. I had 3 college degrees in early childhood education. Sheesh. No one is held accountable anymore. Substitutes make more than our staff. That's crazy. Here's the difference. Substitutes make more than you per dollar, but don't receive the same benefits. I don't receive the same benefits. So there's an unseen benefit that's not being calculated. So just think about that. That's not to say that they didn't get paid more on a per dollar basis, but substitutes don't receive the same benefits that regular teachers receive. No, it wasn't because I wasn't overqualified. I didn't get it because of my criminal record. Like I said, I had a DUI from 11 days before my 21st birthday. I remember that, and I was pissed. I was like, dude, this is the reason why I don't get it? It's all good, though. So, yeah. Well, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. And you know what? I appreciate everyone. We got up to 4.8 thousand likes because of y'all. Because of y'all. Really appreciate y'all. I'm so thankful that everybody is here. Um, don't let nobody scare you into voting for somebody. Uh, know why you're voting for someone, and if you're voting for them just because they're black, cool. But don't try to act like it's all this other stuff. You're voting for somebody just because they white, cool, fine. I want people voting. I want people voting. Don't really care how they vote. I just know how I'm voting. I know why I'm voting for that particular person, and I have realistic expectations of that person. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great evening, great night. I love you. Jesus loves you. If you do not know, if you do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ, I encourage you to go and get one. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but shall have everlasting life. So, Jesus has saved my soul, and he can do the same for you. He died on the cross for our sins. I love y'all. Jesus loves y'all. Y'all take care. All right. If it'll let me close it, if you let me end it, there it is. Perfect.